What up, everybody? Hey, Jimmy Jet here. I'm interrupting this wonderful rockin' intro to give you a quick little update. Tyler and the secretary had their baby. Yeah, the day after we recorded this podcast, little baby Tyler popped out. And just a little hint, we did talk about his name in this episode. So just wanted to let everybody know that the baby and the secretary are doing fine. Everybody is healthy, happy, and probably extremely tired. So give them a little bit of room, but also, send them some congratulations. Anyways, with that, we are going to jump on in here to the main show. So enjoy the podcast.
Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun in Toyotas, and of course hearing about how awesome babies are in Toyotas, and this is the podcast for you. I wonder if I could do that any faster.
I don't know. Probably. Want to try again?
No. Oh, man. Were you at the Rubitracks where they had the auctioneer?
Yes.
That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
That was awesome. It was fun to have a legitimate auctioneer at a raffle.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was fun. So anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. My name's Tyler, and joining me for another episode of the Snail Trail podcast is Jimmy, Mr. Jet over here. We're coming to you guys without a too bad of a messed up time frame because I have not had a baby yet.
Correct. Not yet.
Not yet.
But he's close.
You better be close, man. We're after our due date now.
Yeah, well.
We're post due date.
The baby will come out when the baby is ready.
Not according to the doctor.
Well, of course not. Yeah. Never according to the doctor. But the doctor also guesses on when the due date is.
I mean, yes, but that's not what I'm referencing.
Oh.
Hey, we're going to be inducing.
Yes. Now, yeah. It's easier to determine when the baby's going to come once the closer you get to the baby's birth.
Yes.
Right? Because there's more signs about what's happening to the female body and when it could possibly be happening.
Yes.
But 9 months ago,
they're
like, this is our educated guess on when your birthing date would be.
Well, so every time we go in for a checkup, they take measurements, right?
Sure.
And they update your due date. And it has stayed the same after every single check.
Oh.
So
okay.
now we're after, and the doctor's like, do you guys want to induce or do you just want to let it to come on its own schedule? And the secretary is like, no, we're inducing. Get this fucking thing out of here.
Yeah.
So
I am done.
We are done with this.
Yeah.
So he's now coming on the doctor's terms, not on his terms.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Middle name is going to be like, I'm tired of you.
Yeah, right. Get the fuck out. GTFO.
Larson.
Exactly. So speaking of, I think we've come to a conclusion on a name.
Are you going to say it?
I don't know. Yes, I am.
Okay. You're going to say it here. And in theory, you'll have a child before this episode airs.
In theory, I don't know, because we're inducing the day this episode airs.
True.
Assuming the appointments are available, which the doctor said they should be. So we're still waiting on the appointment confirmation, but we've gone back and forth with names a lot because I don't like any names she's choosing. She doesn't like any names I'm choosing.
Yeah. I always wanted to do a round robin thing.
That'd be funny.
Like you and your significant other just choose. And I always like the idea.
Tournament bracket.
Yeah, exactly. I always like the idea of not knowing what was going to pop out.
Uh-huh.
And so you choose like 16 boy names and 16 girl names that you all like. And then every week sort of leading up to it, you have like, or for the last 16 or maybe 17 weeks or something, you would just have, all right, this name against this name, who's going to win? And then, you just battle it out.
So question, because, here's a similar topic.
Okay.
How do other people do this out there? Because I understand there's this allure to being surprised, right?
Sure.
both the secretary and I are like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
we're in that form where we're like, we
The
want to know.
assistant is as well. I said this to her.
Okay.
And then she's like, no, we would know what the sex is.
Yeah.
I would want to know.
So this is great because I thought that you're much more of a practical personality. You like practicality.
Sort of, but I also go out to eat and I say, surprise me.
That is true. You do love surprises as well. So here's how do you weigh this between practicality and surprises? Because if you wait until the kid is born to know what sex it is, how are you preparing for clothes, preparing for setting up the room, preparing for all this other stuff?
It's gender neutral things.
So you just do everything in yellows?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, you do yellows and greens and you can't do, I mean, you can still do some blues and some, reds or something, but they're, not like boy blue, it'd be like a sky blue or something. And then, the room is more or less the same. You don't do unicorns and, fairies or monster trucks and fire or whatever. You do.
There's a baby's first flamethrower in the corner.
Right. You do like a jungle with a monkey on a tree.
Interesting. Okay. Maybe. I kind of see your point.
You can do it. You can figure out something that's in the middle that's, could probably work either way.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it easier? Yes. To know the sex. Like you're having a boy, that you can buy boy clothes and you can outfit the thing. The room with monster trucks. I meant thing as in room for me, not the boy. Okay. You can outfit the thing room with monster trucks and flamethrowers and machetes and everything, all that boys should have.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think about what is this going to be a boy or girl choice. I'm in a boy. I can go in the boy direction. Yeah. It's a little easier to some extent. It's a simpler route.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easier on people buying gifts too.
True. Exactly. And I think that was another big thing for it as well, was she was like, I don't want people to have to figure out what gift to get because it's gender neutral or something.
Right.
So I think that was a part of it as well. But speaking of outfitting rooms, I did go out and purchase baby's first 50 caliber.
Nice.
So it'll be great.
Yeah. Just get a little Dremel and engrave on the bullet for when his birthday is. And then like when he turns 18 or something, you can have him shoot it.
Yes.
It's probably not a smart idea, but
no, it's funny. So that's the update. Baby is not here yet. If he doesn't show up in the next 2 days, we are inducing labor. But right now, as we just went to our appointment this morning, and she is 2 centimeters dilated, 90% effaced. So the doctor said that there's a 50-50 chance he could just pop out in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
which we were planning on recording this tomorrow, Wednesday.
Yeah.
But then we're like 50-50 chance. Maybe we should try to get together a little earlier.
Yeah.
And I was still like, holy shit, we're going to get together.
Yeah.
I was like, don't you have enough stuff to be doing to get ready for this?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Let's just cause the sleep deprivation as early as possible.
Yeah. It's all right. I don't need sleep. I can sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that now. Right. Anyways, so that's baby update. Hopefully by the next time we record, I won't either be able to record or we'll have a little kid to throw at you while we're recording.
Sounds good to me. So
yeah.
Were you going to say the name or are you going to hold off?
Oh, I forgot about that. So yeah, she likes whatever.
Because I'm curious.
We got sidetracked. So she really liked Reed.
Okay.
And I really wanted Forrest or Barrett.
All great names.
Right.
Yeah.
But she hated Forrest and Barrett.
Oh.
And Barrett after Barrett Lake. Right. Sure. So my favorite off-roading trail. And so we compromised and we're looking at Reed, Barrett, Larson.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll see if that sticks, but right now that's the first time we've ever both been kind of like, yeah, that kind of works.
Yeah.
So it's a baby update, baby watch.
Yeah.
Baby gate, however you want to call it. I don't know if it'd be a baby gate.
Yeah. So in regards to that though, and we've sort of been alluding to it the past few weeks, things are slightly going to change for a little while on the podcast.
Yeah. They might get a little weird on scheduling.
We have a Monday. We have 2 Monday episodes in the bank. One will be coming out this upcoming Monday. And then after that, we have nothing pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying. I'm going to definitely try to get a few interviews in the bank or try to get some interviews in the meantime for Mondays. I'm still going to probably do a Thursday, but it'll probably be much shorter than typical.
Mm-hmm.
I might try to steal the snail mail phone from Tyler and maybe incorporate those on some of the Thursday episodes. I've always had this wild hair to, like, back in the day, I used to do 2-Minute Tuesdays.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that might be fun to try up on a podcast version.
Mm-hmm.
And so I might use this as an opportunity to do some testing.
Okay.
And try some longer form 2-Minute Tuesdays where I would review a product that I have or own. That's something that I enjoy and I'd like to share.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's sort of my idea of what the hell might be happening here in the next few weeks.
Okay.
To a month or two. We'll see if Tyler ever wants to come back.
Yeah. I still think you should sit down with Vanquish.
Yeah. See, there's a few interviews that I've definitely am planning on doing. Vanquish. I'm planning on sitting down with Benji before the end of this month and help him promote his new podcast that he's changing to. And then, I know that there's a few other people that have reached out. Actually, a bunch of people have reached out and said, hey, if you need help, hit me up. Yeah. I'll be happy to jump on and talk for a while.
Yeah.
So definitely some helpers out there, and I appreciate everybody that has reached out.
You can call up Ian as well and talk about his pierced nipples.
Okay.
That he got at Toyotathon.
Yeah. I think that I did see his Ian from Wheel Every Weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Instagram post.
I bet you can get Alex on. Alex and Jenna.
Maybe. I wonder how many messages he got.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I never heard from anybody that they messaged him.
I got a few people that said they messaged him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I never heard from them saying, why are all these people messaging me?
That's funny.
Jenna probably looks at the Instagram too, right?
I'm pretty sure she is the main Instagrammer in the relationship. So.
Yeah. So she's seen it all come in, and then she's probably just relaying it to him.
Yeah. That's funny. So yeah, things might get a little weird over the next few weeks, but we're still planning on continuing. Speaking of things being weird, Google Podcasts and Spotify are not playing correctly, and we have no clue why, but it seems like every episode before like 475, 476, somewhere in there, is all the same episode. They all have the correct titles and the correct show notes, but they all have incorrect audio files. But I've looked at, I use Podcast Addict for all my podcast stuff, and it's showing everything correctly and playing everything correctly. So we got to dig into figuring out what's going on. So we apologize, but all the new episodes are uploading and playing correctly as far as we can tell. We're digging into it. Thank you sincerely for everybody that pointed it out to us that it was going on. We're going to see what we can do about trying to fix this here. So,
yeah, we're in the middle of working with our new hosting company and migrating things over from our old hosting company and trying to get things working properly on Spotify. And now they're not working correctly on Google.
Yeah.
It also might be a Google error just because Google Podcast is going away.
That was my first thought, but then it's doing the exact same thing on Spotify. So I think that the RSS feed got messed up somewhere on the back end.
Maybe.
So
yeah, that's quite possible. I mean, maybe just Spotify is screwed up and Google just hasn't cared because they're moving to the new thing.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
But we're working on it. We'll figure it out soon. I'm in chats with the new hosting company to figure out what happened during the migration and why did something mess up and how do we solve it?
Cool. Sounds good. We have some fun things for you guys today, including FNG's birthdays, a wiener from February, and updates on this month's giveaway, some other giveaway stuff. We got a package from a listener over there on the table that we'll dig into, and then some updates on vehicle stuff that Jimmy and I have been playing around with.
Yeah.
So shall we dig into it?
Yeah, let's start with some giveaway items, shall we?
Cool. Let's do a giveaway. I guess we never... Oh, did you mark it?
I never did the giveaway.
Cool.
I didn't run it. So open up a random number generator.
Random number generator. And then we're going to go to
While you're setting that up, I'll say our monthly giveaway for the month of March, while Tyler's looking everything up for the February giveaway, which was from Coyote Beadlocks and Morphlate. Thanks to Morphlate for donating the Coyote Beadlocks.
Thanks, Morphlate.
Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Our March giveaway is with Wagon Tech. We are giving it away one of their lithium cubes, the EX5, which is a super sweet platform. They've changed some things up. The screen's improved. I believe there's a few new ports or updated ports on there, including some of the Anderson plugs, which there's an Anderson in and an Anderson out. So you can just connect the solar charger or the solar panel directly up to the lithium cube now, which was different than it was before because I had to use barrel connectors. I'm a little jealous about how fancy their new cube is, to be honest, because I just got their updated version and now they're coming out with a new one and it's way better. I'm definitely going to get the EX18. Also, thanks to Dave McKinney for correcting me and sending me a message that it's not the EX12 or 13. It's an EX18, which is massive. But what's cool about that one is that you can hook them up in, is it called parallel or series?
In parallel.
In parallel.
Yep.
And then you can run a welder off of it. In theory, I still have yet to see that. I can't wait to try it out. I think Tyler and I are both going to get one of those so we can try to weld something up.
Yeah, no, if you're running a welder off it, then that would be series because that's going to bump up the voltage to 24 volts.
Okay.
Would it? Or no, it's because it's running the 110. So it is drawing power off of both of them through one inverter. So yeah, it would be in parallel.
Okay.
It just has a thicker line so it can draw more power at one time.
Right.
Yeah, so it would be parallel.
But also what I like about the EX18 is that it also can work as a surge protector for in your house. And that's one of the major reasons that I want to get it, is because now it's just not an item that I'm going to take out whenever I'm going camping, but it's going to be an item that I can use in my daily life every single day whenever I'm running my computer to protect my computer from random surges or power outages or whatever happens in your house. But then it's fully charged whenever that problem happens. But then if I want to go camping, it's probably fully charged anyway, and I can just grab it, take it out and go camping with it. And I can use it for multiple purposes, which I do believe in multitaskers over a unitasker 100%. You figure it out yet? I don't think I'm done talking.
I had to rearrange the list, so we had
I didn't do
giveaway
that.
list. All right, so we have 99 people on this month's February's giveaway. Tell me when to stop, sir.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One more, or is that it?
I haven't stopped.
Okay. Number 57, which is Brandon Caro.
Brandon Caro
wins a set of beadlocks, inner beadlocks.
Isn't he new? He's fairly new,
Is
isn't
he pretty new?
I don't know. Go to the birthdays and look for him.
Birthdays, Brandon Caro. Where's Brandon Caro at? Control F, Caro. Yeah, he's 1.3 years old.
Okay. See, that helps.
Yeah, it does.
It's just over a year.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
November 22 is when he joined in at the end of November. So
yeah.
Well,
Brandon Caro, you won a set of internal beadlocks from Coyote Beadlock, donated by Morphlate.
Yeah. So we'll get in touch with you, buddy. Check out your email to confirm shipping address. Yeah, we'll go from there. So congratulations to Brandon. Let's see here. What else do we got? We have our normal giveaway for a set of Yokohama tires ongoing, as always. That's going to be over at Apple Podcasts. So you got to leave a review for the show. Once we reach 750 reviews, we'll be doing a drawing from those 750 reviews to see who can win a set of tires from Yokohama. And it's pretty much any tire you want. No 20-inch rims or bigger, and DOT-approved compounds only. So no stickies, no race tires. But that opens you up to 40-inch tires and 17-inch rims.
Oh, yeah.
37-inch XATs, which are a freaking awesome tire for off-roading. So, a lot of really good off-road options there. And then we're doing swag packs at every 50. So I think we're coming up on 650 soon. And the cool thing about doing reviews and the drawing from the review is if you can find a way to leave more than one review, then you increase your odds of winning all of the drawings based on reviews. And
not to mention entering multiple times for some tires.
Exactly. So yeah, you just have to be able to prove that you have access to that account.
Yep.
When we call the winners. So they make sure that if you do it under your girlfriend's account or your boyfriend's account, whichever, no judgment, we can that you're still with them when we call the winners, or else they may try and claim your tires.
Ooh, yeah. That could happen.
Yep. Look at us keeping couples together.
I could see that. The significant other could hold the ransom of tires over their head for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
You can't break up with me. Yeah. What if you win those tires?
Exactly. That's great. So yeah, that's that giveaway. That's the February giveaway. For the month of March is, like Jimmy said, that Wagon Tech EX5, which is an awesome thing, and a solar panel. Did you mention that too?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, they don't know that yet.
Oh, I mean, just an EX5 for everybody.
Yep.
That's funny. Let's see. What else do we got here? We can do some birthdays.
Let's do some B-days.
All right. So.
And FNGs.
Yeah. All right. So birthdays. Here we go. Going back 1 year.
So FNG should be at the bottom, right? The newest one.
All right. So FNG from February, we have one. Nathan Gerber. That name sounds really familiar.
I know.
Is he a rejoin?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I mean, you could search the list, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
We have another Nathan. We have Nathan Dillport.
No, I remember specifically the Gerber, I thought.
I don't remember.
Dropped. I don't see him on the canceled list. So Nathan, let us know if that's incorrect, and we will fix your birthday for you. So, but if that is correct, then welcome aboard.
Yeah, good to have you, Nathan. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Let's see, 1 year birthdays coming up for March.
Marches, yep.
We have 1 year.
Okay, who is it?
Dustin Meeks.
Dustin Meeks. Thanks a lot.
Let's see, 2 year birthdays 0. 3 year birthdays we got 2. Seth Kroom.
Oh, Seth Kroom. Thanks, man.
And Zachary Lilly.
Zach Lilly.
Zach Lilly?
Zach Lilly.
Zach Lilly?
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what I said. Do we know Zach Lilly?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you?
No, not that I know.
Is that Honey Badger?
I don't know.
Is that a different Zach?
Is that our Oklahoma Zach?
That's what I was asking.
Oh, is that Honey Badger?
Come on. Keep up with me here.
God dang it.
Already sleep deprived, huh?
No. I think it's Zachary Lane.
Project Honey Badger only says Zach.
Well, there's only one Zach in the world, so.
His most recent photo is a bunch of penises.
That's perfect.
MF penises.
They're neon green. So, welcome to your 3rd birthday, Zach.
Yeah, cool.
So, and then no 4-year birthdays and no 5-year birthdays.
Not yet.
We're getting close.
I did Fat Finger call. Oh my God, I just lost his name. Our first ever Patreon.
Oh, Dustin?
Yeah,
Dusty Ferguson?
Dusty Ferguson, yes. I fat fingered him, called him on Instagram. He responded to one of my posts about Clifford, because I've been working on Clifford. And I fat fingered him, and I thought I hung up. And then all of a sudden I hear my phone going, "Hey man, what up?" And I was like, "Oh no!" And it was like in my pocket, and I had to pull it out, and I was like, "Hey, shit, sorry, totally forgot or thought I hung up, didn't mean to call you." And he's like, "Oh man, that's all good, And then we talked for like 20 minutes about Clifford and what I think, hints and suggestions, because Small World is like he's only ever had the OBS Fords,
no shit,
or those version of Broncos. That's what he builds up. He's got that year, like body stylish of a Ford Bronco on 41 pit pulls.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, right? He's like, I want to come run the Rubicon. I'm like, you'd be fine.
Get out here.
Bring it on. Like, just make sure you have some Under Armour protection.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked for a while and he gave me some really good tips and tricks about how to work on the front end of Clifford.
Nice.
Because I was like, man, yeah, this part was a pain in the ass. He's like, yeah, that sucks. But what I usually do is just pull these other 6 bolts here and that whole thing comes off. You don't have to take that other thing off.
No.
I'm like, oh, well, yeah. Nice. Tips and tricks of, something you've never worked on. So that was really cool. Of Fergie? That's not Fergie Fab.
I think so.
Fergie Fab. Yeah. Okay. Fergie Fab for helping me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was cool to talk to him, but it was funny because it was also a sunny day here and it was already nighttime over there.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, time change.
Yeah. Amber did that while she was racing. She called, I think, at least one person, at least one person that I know of, and then she also posted to Horton's Facebook page
a complete video,
not even a video, just complete random letters posted on his wall.
That's awesome.
In the middle of the race, so we're like, Amber's butt dialing people while she's racing. So, yeah, man, good stuff. Let's see. So we got giveaways. We got birthdays. We got FNGs out of the way. We got the winner announced. I think we're good.
Are we? Do you want to do reviews?
Let's hold on reviews. I think we've got some fun things to go over for this episode.
All right. Sounds good.
So where do we begin on what we've been up to? I have 1, 2, 3 different things, I guess, to talk about that were kind of fun. I know you got Clifford.
I just have mainly Clifford.
Let's talk about Clifford. I want to hear how this whole fender thing went.
Okay. Well, it went good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. That it?
Well, yeah, it went fine. It was fun. I mean, it was kind of fun to work on a new platform.
Okay.
And to get your hands dirty and doing a little bit of figuring out, like, cause I've never taken a fender off of an older Ford before.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, the OBS Fords are like, they were built in the 50s or something, where you take the whole damn fender off.
Mm-hmm.
Both inner and outer fender come off. So it's literally
interesting.
The firewall, the fender liner,
mm-hmm.
and then the front grill section,
mm-hmm.
and like everything else is pulled off of it. So anything on the inside in the engine bay that is connected to the fender, you have to remove as well.
Wow.
So that was fun, but it wasn't that bad. It was hard because of the accident.
Okay, that makes sense. Bent metal.
Things were bent and things weren't allowed to move in a way that they should move.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to the point where I was like, I felt that all the bolts are off that I could access, because I knew there was one bolt in the door jamb and I couldn't open the door because the fender was pushed back.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, well, okay, what is holding, like, I'm shaking the damn truck, right? I'm like, what is holding this thing in place?
Yeah.
And there's these 2 pins in the front that so when you would assemble the fender, you'd actually like push it against the engine in a way, and then slide it towards the cab.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the pins would hold it in position, and then you can go into the door jamb or add a bolt to the top, and just
holds it
secure it into place.
Okay.
So I couldn't move it. Like, I couldn't move it forward to open the door to get to the bolt that was in the door jamb, because it's just stuck in twisted metal, and
so
it was stuck on these pins.
Yeah, you had the pins or clips on the front side, the bolt on the back side. You can't move it forward. You can't access the bolt on the back side because the door doesn't open.
Right.
And that bolt on the back side is what allows you to slide the whole fender forward to get off the clips.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So did you cut the door out? What'd you?
No. So a lot of people were like, I'm shocked you didn't, because I posted a lot of this on Instagram.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, I'm shocked you just didn't cut the damn fender in half.
Yeah.
And that thought did run through my mind. I won't lie. But I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, there's only this 5-inch piece of metal that has the 2 eye holes for the pins.
Mm-hmm.
If I just cut that, it releases the pins.
Yeah.
And then the fender should be free.
Except for the bolt on the back.
except for the bolts on the back.
But it should be free enough where you can get the door open.
Correct.
To access the bolt. Okay.
Yeah. So I cut that off, and then it still wasn't free.
Oh.
And I was like,
okay.
all right, there's another bolt hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
And there was, and I found it. And that's like, to me, you could either get frustrated because it's not there, it's not what it's doing, or you go, okay, well, if this isn't even free, it's not even moving, then there's another bolt.
Yeah.
Like, where is it?
That's where all those games of hide and seek as a kid come in handy.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so there's just another like small bolt on the underside inside the wheeled arch, behind the fender liner, attaching it to the front valance thing, just this, you had to reach your hand way in there, and so.
That's like the 22 RE. What is it? The heads on a 22 RE has that one bolt back behind the timing and underneath
the
everything.
Air intake setup. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those. Like, why isn't this coming off? Oh, it's because there's this one random bolt that you have to have a special freaking Allen wrench tool to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
That's exactly what this was, except it was wide open. And if I knew it was there, it would have solved my problems earlier.
Yeah.
But eventually I got that loose, and then the fender was wiggling loose. And then I actually called my father in because he was around, and I said, "Hey, help me."
Yeah.
And so I just wiggled the fender up and down kind of and tried to pull it towards the front of the vehicle, and then the door opened up.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't have to do any more, destructive things to the fender. So that freed it up. Then I could pull the bolt out, and then the fender popped right off. So that was super nice. Only had to cut a little bit of metal away, and it worked out pretty well. I did draw up on a piece of cardboard a picture of the fender and just started putting all the bolts and hardware in the places that I pulled out them off of. And I've had a bunch of people comment like, "That's super smart." And I'm like, you've never seen this before? Like, I just glanced. I sort of did I drew this up so I could just remember where all the bolts go. Flash forward, I had like 2 bolts left over. I'm like, where do these go? Like, why aren't they? I filled these holes. Like, well, I don't get it.
Yep.
Anyways, going back now. So yeah, got the fender off, put the new fender on. It didn't quite line up very well. So I had to move and influence some metal to be in more of a correct location. And I, once again, kind of not knowing sort of the platform, like I put it on and I pushed it all the way back towards the cab so that it sat in a good spot with those 2 pins. And then hindsight, that's not the way I should have done it. I should have put it up there and put it on those pins, but then the next day is more or less as I arranged. Then I worked on the line between the door and the fender and made that proper, because the first time I put it on, it was just too far in and the door didn't open again. Yeah. And I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Like, in theory, I should put the new fender on and it should be fine. It just took a little bit of time of just aligning the fender and trying to get it right. And it's not exactly perfect. They have these weird shims on the top that are made out of like heavy duty cardboard.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And there's some companies that make plastic shims.
Okay.
To replace them with, because it's like, that vehicle's 30 something years old. It's probably the cardboard is getting tired of being a shim.
Yep.
And it's definitely the case, but I put the 2 shims back in there, and it's, maybe I compressed it a little bit too much, but the line doesn't exactly match up. And the door jamb line is a little thicker on the top than it is at the bottom. But I'm also like, hey, these are really fine details of me paying attention of when I'm installing this. And nobody's going to really pay attention to it. Plus, the truck was in an accident and things aren't perfectly aligned anymore. So I kind of gave up or just didn't really worry about it being perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
Also, the front was pushed back a little bit, but as soon as I anchored in the points in the back, there's like a bolt on the bottom on the underside of the cab. There's the bolt in the door jamb. And there's 2 bolts like right at the joint of where the hood goes up. Once I secured those down, then when I put the bolt in the front, it pulled the front grill area to where it was and brought it to the position it should have been in.
Nice. That worked out good.
That worked out great. And then it was a matter of just putting everything back on. And the next hardest part of putting everything back on was putting the old school, like original jack back into its location. It's in the engine bay. Like they have a holder for it in the engine bay. And I Googled it. I looked it up. I futzed with it. I took the jack to the old fender and was like, how does this work? And eventually it worked out. But it was funny because it's not flat. And that's what worked out. It's like, you would think that like it's a bottle jack. It's rounded, but it has these fins on the side for strength or whatever purpose they are. So I was trying to get the fins to be flat.
Okay.
But the way that you put it in is it's at like a 45. And then it's pressed up against the firewall, but they make a cutout in the firewall for the foot of the jack to slide into the firewall.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it goes together, not how you think it should go together. But once it goes together, you're like, okay, yeah, that works.
That works. I think
that's
fits
fine.
there. All right.
Good. Yeah. And then I got to the end, like I said, and there was these two bolts that were left over. And it just took me a while because the grill was still a little loose. I'm like, why is this loose? Oh, and I broke the headlight bolt. So I'll talk about the headlight and then I'll go back to the grill.
Okay.
But this is just I did a stupid mistake of not knowing exactly how the vehicle goes together or comes apart. I was just doing it, and there's probably better ways to do it. And that's what Fergie Fab was saying is that, Destiny was saying, yeah, I take that whole plastic part off. It's easier to take that whole plastic part off than to actually pull the headlight.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's like, there's 10 screws, or you have to futz with all the alignment thing.
Yeah.
To get the headlight out. And I was like, yeah, well, I screwed that up. And so one of the things that I did, not knowing how it goes together, is I screwed the headlight in too far, and I was trying to get it to seat back, and it never did. It never should have gone that far. So I kept pressing it and going. I was like, this isn't in yet. This isn't in. And it eventually started messing up the Phillips head.
Okay.
And I was like, oh no, maybe this bit's like really bad. So then I changed to a brand new bit. And I was like, nope, this is screwing it up. And then I went up a size. I went to like a 3 to see if it would fit any better. And I was like, nope, that's not right. So then I went, yeah. So anyways, I walled out the whole inside of the screw.
Oh, geez.
Had to pull it off with pliers. And then I thought, well, maybe the reason that the grill is loose, or the whole front end kind of is loose, is because the headlight kind of holds it on. So then I started like looking at how far in these bits go and how do they interact. And I was like, no, that's not it. That's like, I don't get it. I was like, okay, I have these two bolts left over. Where do they go? They've got to hold this. They got to make this tight.
Yeah.
Because this is way, way too loose. And eventually it was like this part, I covered it up already. Like I installed the grill and these things go behind the grill and like on the backside at a weird angle. And I probably didn't need to pull them off in the first place, but I was one of those things like, oh, I got to pull all this stuff off. And so then I had to pull the grill back off to put these bolts back in and then put the grill back on. And right now Clifford's sitting fully together, fully functional, door opens, it looks really good. Paint match is damn spot on.
Pretty good. Yeah. The paint match.
It might be ever so slightly off, but that's just sun time.
Clear coat.
Clear coat. The clear coats. Yeah. There's just maybe a slight hue, but also Clifford's dirty and the fender was cleanish. So it might just be that too. But it's sitting there without a headlight.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's wrong. So when I was talking to Dustin, he's like, I like to run the clean or the clear version, not the like opaque-ish ones that come from the factory. And I like to run these certain LED bulbs. I've never had a problem with them because some people messaged me and they're like, don't ever put LEDs in. It's whack. It messes up all the electronics on the inside. And I asked him that. I'm like, have you had a problem with the electronics? He's like, no, I just buy the higher end LED bulbs and they're actually, they work really well.
Yeah. They have a lot less interference.
Yeah. So I purchased the lenses. I actually posted on some old like OBS forum on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, the truck's sitting pretty good, except I'm missing a headlight." And I was like, "What headlights did people suggest?" Some guy reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, I have these headlights from this company that are like $200. He's like, I don't use them anymore. I sold the truck. I just have the headlights still sitting around. They don't have the bulbs, but it's just the housing.
Yeah.
I'll sell them to you for $75. And I said, sold.
Sweet.
It's a clear version, sort of like Dustin liked. And I was like, perfect. So I'm going to go buy the bulbs here and put the bulbs, new bulbs, LED bulbs in there and put the headlights on. And then Clifford's rocking and rolling.
Nice.
Yeah. So that worked out really well. Took a little longer than I expected. I tried filming a little bit at the start. I got a new camera, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of the ones that I'm considering using for shooting video for the podcast.
Okay.
And so I was shooting video working on Clifford, but it was really more of like, how does this work? Like, is it any good? Does it have its 30-minute shut off time, which it does. So I have to go in and change in the settings and things. So I was just playing with it, but it was fun to shoot video again. I haven't shot video in a year or so.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So it was a fun few days. I took Sunday off for the most part. I worked on it on Saturday, took Sunday off, worked on it Monday morning and finished it up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Worked out well. You can drive Clifford around and use the passenger side door now.
Yeah, there you go. So next to do is the Charlotte, right? Taco?
Why?
For your
yes, for the wheel bearing.
Your unit bearing?
Yeah, actually, yes, thank you. Yeah, I was going to do that today. And then so maybe, and now I might be going snow wheeling tomorrow. I'm still figuring all that out.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I don't know when I'm going to get to Charlotte, maybe Thursday or Friday. And then I need to get Bobcat in.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to take the drive shaft out of Clifford first and take it down to get balanced and checked and get just get it checked out. Cause I do get that weird wobble on, on Clifford around 70 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And which originally I thought was the trailer, which did turn out to be the trailer in the long run. But on the drive home from Cruise Moab, it was happening again. I'm like, this is weird. And then I took the trailer off and it was happening without the trailer.
Yeah.
So there's something up balance wise with Clifford. A few people reached out in regards to about that. And they were like, yeah, it's probably like, 300,000 mile year ago or whatever bushings. Like your whole body, is off and the sway bars or bushings are probably bad. And, any bushing on that vehicle is probably just tired and old. And I said, yeah, it could be that too.
Yeah.
So there's Clifford needs a little bit of love. I was going to take the drive shaft in just to get it checked out. Cause it might be that, I don't know. It's weird because it's not all the time. So if that's the case, it doesn't really sound like it should be the drive shaft. But in the meantime, I was going to try and fix the Tacoma first, then take the drive shaft in. Then while the Clifford's down, Tacoma's back, I need to drag Bobcat into the shop and fix the bumper, get that properly mounted so it can be properly mounted, and then add the winch to it. I'm also considering redoing and updating some of the steering on Bobcat. The power steering box is leaking. And I know I did that like a year ago and it's leaking now. So I'm considering just getting a power steering box, and the hydro assist ram is leaking. But I've heard they're super easy to rebuild.
They're pretty easy. Yeah.
And I've never done it. So that would be a fun learning experience for me. And they have cheap kits. I know it's a Trail Gear. I'm fairly certain it's a Trail Gear ram, and Trail Gear sells their kit to repair it. And it's pretty cheap. So I'll probably just go that route. I do need to add a bigger reservoir in Bobcat, and I'm not quite sure how I want to do that yet.
Okay.
I would like to get that done before Moab, but I'm not sure that will happen. But I definitely want to change out the power steering because I don't want it leaking out in Moab.
The box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, cool. You got
a month,
3 weeks, 4 weeks,
something like that,
to get that figured out and done. So
yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty tight time wise for the most part.
Yep.
But besides that, the well is going in.
Nice.
So the pipe is in the trench. The trench is dug. The pipe is in the ground.
Oh, and you're putting a new well in?
No. Sorry. the main water line from the well
Gotcha.
to the house.
That's what I thought you meant. And I was like, I didn't think you were putting in a third well. What is it?
That well is new already. We just had to replace the pump in the well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's fiasco, man. Let's see. So yeah, the trench is dug from the house to the well. The pipe is laid down in there. It's connected at the well end, but not connected at the house side yet. But the electrical is not ran to the well. So the trench is open because we still need to run the electrical, because either my mistake or mainly my mistake, because I didn't tell the plumber. But the one I did tell the plumber, he kind of was like, well, I need to know more information about the well. So then I just called the well guy and he's like, why don't I just come out and do it? I was like, okay, fine. I was kind of like, I don't really just tell me what wire I need and I'm going to put it in the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just buried in the ground anyway. And he's like, oh, you should really put it in some conduit. I'm like, fine, whatever. Yeah. So, and then we're going to get a water softener.
Okay.
So we're going to get that sometime next week, I believe. And so after that, I think our well issues will be solved.
Nice.
And then we're going to start repiping the main, all the house.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
This house, man. What did I put myself into?
Oh, the house was working great before you moved into it.
I know. Well, yeah, it already had a damn leak underneath the house.
Yeah.
And when I told my parents that, I was like, hey, we're talking about repiping the entire house, my mom's all, why? My dad's like, that's smart. My mom's like, you're getting a water softener that's going to prevent all the problems. And we're kind of, my dad and I were like, maybe.
Yeah.
Like in theory, yes.
It'll prevent future problems, but what's
but there's already probably,
degraded?
Yeah, there's already degraded lines in the house. So yeah. So never ending.
Nice. Yeah.
But we have to we're going to have to repipe at least the upstairs section of the house before we start working on the master bathroom.
Yeah.
Because the wall's already open.
Yep.
So it's easy access. I don't want to close the wall and only have it open back up.
Yep.
So I was telling the assistant that the other night and she's like, oh, I guess we need to move on that. I was like, yeah, we kind of do. If you want a master bathroom, if you want to wait a while, we can wait a while. But you know how that conversation ended.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. That's about it for me.
Cool. I did a few fun things. I've had these helper springs for the F350.
Okay.
For a while. They're overload helper springs from Hellwig. And I haven't put them on because Ozzy and I ordered helper springs for our tow trucks, our tow rigs at the same time from Hellwig.
Sure.
And he put his helper springs on. He said it was one of the most pain in the ass jobs he's ever done.
Oh.
On his Dodge.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So I've been like, he goes, you need to have a lift because you have to drop the axle off and essentially you're adding a leaf to the leaf pack, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
sound that hard.
Yeah. I'm like, it doesn't sound that bad, but he made it sound like it's a pain in the ass. I'm like, all right. So I've been putting it off.
Did he do it?
He did it with Dave Pfeiffer.
Okay.
Over at Dave's house. So
I was like, he doesn't work on any of his rigs.
He doesn't work on vehicles. So anyway, so I've been putting it off. And then we came to the realization that the F350 has its overload springs are separate from the leaf pack.
Oh.
From the main leaf pack of the suspension. So it's the suspension and the leaf pack is, bolted to the axle, right? And then there's a platform on top of the U-bolts. And then the overload pack is on top of that platform and hits separate stoppers on either end.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So as the truck flexes up towards the body in the chassis, the overload hits these stops and helps to from the overload and spring pack.
Got it. So when the suspension compresses, the overload springs actually contact the frame.
Essentially, yep.
And unlike the style that the overload spring goes on the underside of the leaf pack, and so then when the leaf pack is being compressed, it's pressing down on the overload spring.
Exactly.
Right.
So once we start looking at it, we're like, oh, this will go in super quick because you're just taking the new helper springs from Hellwig and bolting them to the overload spring.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
And so we're like, oh, this will go quick. So I did that. And that is by far the quickest and easiest upgrade I've ever done to a vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
If I had a 90-degree 3/8 impact, I would have had that entire job done in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So kudos to Hellwig for making that quick and easy.
I can one up that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to be Nick now? Sorry.
I was just going to say you should install a snail armor.
A snail armor? I mean, true. That would be quicker too.
Probably do that in under 10 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Do you have one for a 350?
Not yet.
Come on.
I should.
You should.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I did a poll on Instagram because I did a post about how I was working on the Land Cruisers. And I'm trying to get a Land Cruiser panel done before Cruise Moab, which is also on my list to do. But I did a poll and I said, what should I make next? And 4th gen and 5th gen Dodges won.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought so too. So if you are interested in getting a panel for your truck, make sure to follow Snail Armor because I really do poll the audience and find out what people want.
Yeah.
And yeah, this time, so Dodges won. So I'm going to try to, I might go to a wrecking yard and grab a tailgate from one of them.
There you go.
I also know some people around here that have Dodges.
You don't want to admit that.
Yeah. Next time Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Chris passes through, I'll have to snag his Dodge.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I did that. That was nice and easy. It took me about 40 minutes because they're just long threads and you can only turn the nut 1/4 inch at a time with a wrench.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That
you
took
didn't
a
use
while.
the pass-through?
I used the pass-through, but there's not enough room to turn the wrench.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. So I did that. That was a nice, quick and easy job. And then I started hunting down the electrical short.
Okay.
Further. So I made a fatal flaw.
Oh.
When I was looking at wiring diagrams, I was looking at the 3.4.
Dangerous right there.
I was looking at the factory service manual for the 3.4.
Yeah. That would be, that's not your wiring.
That's not my chassis wiring.
Yeah.
It's the engine wiring.
Correct.
But it's not the chassis harness wiring. So I was like, oh yeah, I still have the 3.0 wiring in the chassis for the chassis harness.
Correct. Yeah.
And then I have an Offroad Solutions ORS conversion harness to convert from the 3.0 to the 3.4 computer. I was like, I don't have a 3.0 factory service manual. One of our listeners does.
Yeah.
Mike Klein.
Mr. Klein.
East Coast Klein.
Yes.
He looked up what those two wires were. The one wire is for the starter circuit.
Okay.
And the other wire is for the dome light circuit.
Okay.
So apparently there's a bunch of different stuff on the dome light circuit. It's not just
probably
the dome light, right? And so I was like, all right, well, most of the starter circuit is all fairly easily traceable. The dome light circuit's going to be a pain in the ass to trace.
Yes.
I'm looking at the starter circuit and the starter signal wire going down from the passenger fender down to the starter is routed a little close to the exhaust. And so the outer sheathing, it's in a plastic wire loom, right?
Yeah.
And then it has the wire and its wire insulation underneath the wiring loom plastic. The entire plastic wiring loop was melted off.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was like, So I pulled it all off. I unplugged it from the starter, pulled it all up out of the fender and inspected the whole wire there. And none of the insulation on the wire was damaged.
Okay.
It was just that plastic wire loom stuff. I was like, so this shouldn't be it.
Correct.
And the wire seems in decent shape. So I just kind of plugged it back in. I was like, I'll plug it back in, retest everything, and I'll route it correctly away from the exhaust later.
Okay.
Which Ori did, by the way.
Oh.
So anyways, I'm like, all right.
Originally,
yeah.
Yes.
He routed the wire there. So I was like, I'll reroute it further away from it. And so I plugged it back in and no more draw, no more short.
How do you know?
Because I tested it.
Okay.
And I
Your
was
resistance?
no longer, well, you're testing connectivity.
Okay.
And so I was no longer getting a connectivity between a load and the chassis ground.
So what did it have to do with being near the exhaust that would cause
I have no clue. I personally don't think that was it because there's no reason why unplugging and replugging the starter signal wire, which is only energized when you're turning your key.
Sure. Well, yeah, I don't know enough about that, but there might be, is it before or after the relay?
So the starter relay, what the starter relay does is it takes, and I believe the starter has a solenoid in it because that's where you get the starters, the signal from. So the signal wire goes down and sends the signal to make contact with the starter relay. And then it draws the big power off of the main power post on your starter to start the starter and drive the starter.
My guess is there was an issue with the connection, one of the plugs, and by you unplugging it and then replugging it in.
On the starter signal wire?
Yeah.
Maybe, but like that, it would still be there then if there was a short.
No, it was like plug. Halfway in or loose or something, and you pushed it. Maybe. And when you redid it, you just connected it correctly. And
maybe
we'll see in like 8 months.
Exactly.
If you get that drawback.
Yeah. So I can't diagnose it. I don't think that solved it. I don't think that's what the draw was. But I can't continue diagnosing it until the draw comes back. And right now there's no draw on the electrical system of the vehicle.
Yeah. I was going to say, you were like, I put it back in. I'm like, why? You should just leave it out and see if that draw happens. But then you said you connected it and there was no more draw. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because I've, just like how, like section, by piece, you could pull these things apart and just see if you lose power or not.
Yeah.
But if we'll see if that ends up being your solution.
Yep.
That's cool though.
So I did get, I got feedback from listeners.
Yeah.
About different things. And a lot of people were like, feel your alternator on a cold morning. You haven't started your vehicle yet. Feel your alternator. Sometimes, wiring goes loose in alternators and creates an internal short on an alternator. It's not uncommon.
Yes.
And so I did that and that wasn't it at all. And the draw wasn't on that circuit anyways. So I'm like, it didn't make sense. So the only thing that I've heard from a listener now that makes sense is that he had this similar situation happen on his wife's old Ram Charger in which a door window motor had gotten stuck on for some reason. The coils stayed energized in a door window motor, and that created a 5 to 10 amp draw on the battery in the electrical system, but he never knew about it because the window was up, kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah.
And so
was that like, Fergie Fab? Because he said he messaged you also.
Maybe.
Yeah. It sounds like what he was saying.
Okay. So anyways, that actually sounds possible. So now that I've kind of put everything back together and the vehicle's back up and running, 2 things are not working.
Oh.
My driver's side door lock switch. So the lock side of it no longer works. So the passenger side works just fine, and the key fob works just fine for locking and unlocking the doors. But the driver's side lock does not work anymore.
Both doors?
Oh, just the driver's side.
Yeah, but you have 2 doors on the driver's side.
Sorry, driver door. Yeah. There's no lock on the rear doors switch.
What?
There's no lock switches on the rear doors.
Oh.
It's only window switches.
Got it.
Yeah.
Understood.
So yeah, that's not working. And I don't think that has to do with anything I've been having issues with. I think that's just a coincidental. I think the switch gave out and it just happened to give out around this time.
Yeah.
So I have my spare doors here at the warehouse. I'm going to take the switches out of the spare doors and put them in and see if that fixes that problem. But the rear window does not roll down or up from the back key switch anymore. So you put your key in my tailgate and then turn it one way, it rolls up, turn it the other way, it rolls down. It no longer works and functions like that anymore.
Interesting.
So what was happening before all this happened was I couldn't roll down the window anymore. I could roll it up with the key, but I couldn't roll it down. And I found that if I had the key in and jiggled it around a little bit, then it would roll down with the key. And now it's not doing either. So I think that possibly that the window motor inside is something going on with the electrical in the window motor that it had gotten stuck on possibly. And it's no longer on thus not drawing anymore. But I think the switch might also be burned out because it had gotten stuck in one way or the other.
Yeah.
The contacts.
I mean, it's all possible.
But the rear window is not on the dome light circuit or the starter circuit that I know of. So I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, I can't diagnose it anymore until the draw shows back up.
Got it.
But as of right now.
So now it starts and runs and no power loss or everything's good?
Yeah. I drove it around yesterday and then drove it down to the warehouse because I put something on the 4Runner.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone out to check and see if I still have power in the 4Runner overnight.
Okay.
But I'll be doing that and figure it out. Yeah. It sat around for 3 days without losing in power and battery stayed fully charged.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah. So that's good. And then Ryan, MFer Ryan and I put the Trax on the 4Runner.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've yet to see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I saw the photos.
it's so cool. It's awesome looking. I'm super wide. So the deck over on the trailer is 102 inches, standard deck over. By judging by that and where the 4Runner sits on the trailer, I think I'm 100 inches wide.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think
like an inch on each side.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
did it drive over the fenders? Oh, you have deck over.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you didn't have fenders to drive over.
No fenders.
Yep.
Yep.
So did it drove up the ramps and all fine?
Yeah, it drove just fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I've driven Dimitri's Tacoma, the track Tacoma.
Yep.
Steering that thing sucks.
Yeah. Okay.
Hydro assist solid axle steering on tracks, amazing.
Way
Just
better.
FYI, I could sit there and spin the tracks on the concrete in the warehouse.
Nice.
Not moving. So
where did you try to steer the Tacoma?
When
Just
I drove
in the snow?
No, when I had to drive it up onto my trailer when I picked it up. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I was going to say there's probably more resistance when you're trying to turn in snow than you're trying to turn on polished concrete out here.
True. There is that. But I mean, I think he has polished concrete in his warehouse,
Probably
in his
also.
shop as well. So, but yeah, the 4Runner is on Trax right now. I've kind of come to the conclusion I'm not going to get to use my Trax this year.
Probably not.
But the 4Runner is on Trax because we have 4-wheel drive 24/7 coming into town.
Yep.
Shauno, Jocko, Jesse, and I don't know if Graham is coming.
Okay.
But they're coming in to do some more filming in the States. And we're going to be doing a couple episodes with them out here in the Sierras in the snow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So they were here last year and did the Rubicon. And we're like, you guys need to come back and see the exact same area you just were in the snow, under like 12 to 15 feet of snow this time.
Yeah.
And we've been really anxious about whether or not we were going to be able to deliver that experience for them.
Right.
And the last storm that came through dumped 6 to 10 feet of snow up in the Sierras. So, and then we have another storm coming in this weekend while they're going to be up there.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, literally we put together this trip plan for the Sierras to, bring the pain.
Yeah.
Because they're Australian dudes, right? They like their heat and their outback and river crossings and swimming while they're doing their river crossings. And they've never really been in deep snow blizzard conditions before in their lives.
Right.
So
you're going to kill them. Do they even know what clothes to bring? Like what's happening?
They don't have clothes.
They don't. Oh
they're
my God.
literally coming in here.
They're going to wear their boardies out there.
Ozzy is taking them winter shopping, clothes shopping today when this episode's releasing.
Oh, geez.
So they're literally going around Sacramento right now buying clothes for this winter trip. And there's concern that with the storm coming in, that wherever they make it to and to camp and do these episode shoots at, that they may get stuck up there.
Yeah.
So the 4Runner is all set, ready to go for somebody to just come over to my house, grab the F350, bring it to the warehouse, hook up the trailer, and go up to the mountains.
Sounds fun.
To have Rescue Runner go back in action. Yeah. So I won't be able to do it.
Yep.
But it's set up for whoever gets enlisted to do it can go up and do it.
How funny.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm like, Moreflate bought Trax this year for the winter season. I'm not going to get to use them. Somebody better get to use them. Right.
So they better get stuck.
Yes, exactly.
So we can take it out.
Yeah. So anyways, the Trax are all ready to go. I'm impressed with those Rubitracks. They set up really great. They're we got the adapters put on from Bora, and those fit on perfectly. They did a great job with the adapters. And then we got the chains, the limiting chains made and fit on the vehicle with some tips and advice from Nick Bailey, Mr. Avalanche Technical.
Nice. Good.
So it's all set up and ready to go. It's just a matter of going out and using it now, which I'm not going to get to do.
No.
Wah, wah, wah. We have one of those.
We do. I don't think it's ready for it.
Whatever. Wah, wah, wah. I'll do it.
That sounded pretty good.
Thank you.
I was proud of you.
Identical. That was identical. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I think the short in the vehicle is temporarily fixed. Helper springs on 350 and Trax.
Sweet. Yeah. Good stuff there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we open this gift from Florida Frank?
Oh, it is from Florida Frank?
Yep.
I didn't even look who it was from. So yeah, let's open it up. See what we got. Maybe we got some Florida license plates in there.
I'm guessing we did.
It's an envelope inside an envelope. A Russian nesting doll.
Right.
All right. We have some license plates here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
Cool.
We have one that just says Florida State Trooper.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That one's kind of cool.
Yeah. I wonder if we're allowed to display that one.
Oh, you may have to beep that one out during editing. Next one is a little beat up. It's a Florida U.S. paratrooper plate. That's cool.
That's rad.
Another Florida State Trooper plate.
Oh, I wonder if there's a hint here.
I know, right?
Is there even a standard orange?
They're using
What's that one?
4 different colors of orange here. This one's Florida Arrive Alive, Sunshine State.
Sunshine State.
Yeah.
No, isn't there like?
I think this one goes on a meat wagon.
Yeah. Doesn't the modern day license plate from Florida doesn't have the orange on it?
It does. Yeah. I mean, there's a Florida Highway Patrol. This one has an orange on it.
That one does have an orange on it, I guess. Yeah. Those are cool.
Is Florida Frank associated with the Florida Highway Patrol
or the paratroopers?
State trooper or paratroopers?
Yeah. I'm assuming no, but it somehow had them.
Right?
How cool are those?
Those are pretty rad.
They're unique too, which is, it's like there's no way that we would get these.
No, not at all.
We would get a standard, boring Florida orange license plate, but these are so cool.
Yeah.
Rad. Thanks, Florida Frank.
Yeah, man. That was sweet. Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. We do have one other topic, but I think it's going to take a while to talk about. I don't know if it can be done in a short amount, and we might be getting the individual on the podcast too.
Okay.
So, Caleb.
Yes.
There's, let's mention now because it's relevant. It's going around a lot.
Yes, it is.
So Caleb Patterson got into an accident up here in the Sierras recently. He's a local guy. We know him. I know him. He drives a Bronco. He's part of the Gold Country Broncos Club. Big supporters of the Rubicon Trail Foundation and Rubicon in general. I think they're the ones that also adopted the adopted trail for Pierce OHV area.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, Caleb's a really good dude, super active in the community in the off-road world. He's a smart guy. He's very analytical, and he just had an accident where he took a kinetic rope to the face.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's a very good way to put it.
And so if you haven't seen this yet, it is a pretty crazy video, but it's out on social media everywhere right now. And so what happened was he was in his Bronco up on Mormon Immigrant Trail and got his Bronco stuck in the snow and enlisted the help of a passerby in order to get him unstuck. They had a kinetic rope, soft shackles, and recovery points on the vehicles. Essentially what happened was one of the soft shackles gave out and the kinetic rope went through Caleb's windshield at his face.
Hit him in his face.
Pretty much hit him in the chin and across his neck.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to continue out his rear window.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow.
And a bunch of the rope smashed into his grill, completely destroyed his grill. And everybody is saying it is because of the cheap Amazon soft shackle.
Yes, I've seen that.
Uh-huh. So I've talked with Caleb about this because I'm interested, right? We have recommended quote unquote Amazon soft shackles so long as they are rated and the quality control has been done to ensure their weight ratings, their working load limits,
Absolutely.
and minimum braking strengths, right?
Yes.
We've talked about harping on making sure that all your recovery equipment you have and you use and you touch, whether it's yours or somebody else's, it has working load limits and minimum braking strengths listed on them.
Yes.
So I was talking to Caleb about it, and he goes, yeah, this soft shackle doesn't have it written on there, but the Amazon listing had it listed, but it has 2 different weight ratings, minimum braking strengths listed.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, well, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
But looking at soft shackle, it was used for about a year and a half, he said, and it was slightly UV degraded. He said it wasn't too bad. Upon looking at soft shackle myself, I'm like, it seems like it's a little bit more UV degraded than not too bad. But once you kind of dig deeper into the whole scenario, and what is not talked about is what happened to Caleb's bumper.
Oh, what happened to his bumper?
So Caleb's bumper got destroyed in the process, not because of the kinetic rope coming back on the vehicle, but because of how much force was pulled before that soft shackle gave out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they were just flying and trying to yank him out of the snow hole that he was in.
They far, far exceeded working load limits and minimum braking strengths of everything involved in that recovery system.
Interesting.
Yeah. The clevis was bolted into the bumper with, I think, 2 5/16 grade 8 bolts, maybe bigger, might have been bigger than that. Grade 8 has a shear strength of 80 to 100,000 PSI, pounds per square inch. So if you're looking at a 5/16 bolt, the cross section of it is half a square inch.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 40 to 50,000 pounds braking strength.
Okay.
On 2 grade 8 bolts in double shear. So you're looking at 100, probably 90 to 100,000 pounds, 80 to 100,000 pounds braking in order to shear those 2 bolts.
Yeah.
That the clevis
did
bolted
they
to the
shear?
bumper. Yep. The bolts completely sheared off. The clevis was barely hanging in on the 3/16 plate that also was bent out.
Oh my gosh.
And his frame was bent.
Wow.
The frame horn that the bumper itself is bolted to was pulled and bent on the frame.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So all of that was done. The clevis was technically, in theory, no longer connected to the vehicle.
Yeah.
So because those grade 8 bolts were sheared, it was just kind of barely holding on to the plate bumper, which was now bulged and bent outwards itself.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you think about all the force in order to make all of that happen before that soft shackle gave out, that soft shackle held on, I think, pretty damn well considering. And it was very, very close to, if that soft shackle did hold on and didn't break, that clevis was going to fly out of that bumper into the Jeep, which would be a much more dangerous situation than a kinetic rope or a soft shackle flying through a windshield.
Absolutely.
So that's the quick and dirty of the situation. Everybody's blaming the soft shackle. There was probably a reason why the soft shackle broke, but in this specific situation, I think it's a good thing the soft shackle broke, considering what was very close to happening in the opposite direction. The main problem with all this is that the whole situation, the whole recovery situation far exceeded 40 to 50,000 pounds, which is very easy to do in kinetic pulls.
Yeah.
That's why kinetic pulls are great. Kinetic equipment is amazing, but just like any equipment out there, you need to use it properly and safely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think that's a good lesson right there, is just make sure that you're using your equipment appropriately. Don't just do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I even saw in a post, or maybe even on his video somewhere that I scanned, he said, if we would have paused and I would have hopped out and walked around and realized the amount of snow that we had put in front of the vehicle during these pulls and how deep my tire is sunk into the snow.
Yep.
We either needed to shovel at this point, or there was no way I was going to get pulled forward.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of lessons to be learned from this accident. And thankfully, all in all, everybody's okay.
Yes.
Everybody is survivor.
Yep.
Caleb's a little banged up. He's probably a little terrified to some extent.
He's in surprisingly good spirits.
He is.
Yeah.
And he seems to be trying to make the best out of it and use this as an educational purpose for everybody out there.
Yep.
I'll link the video. It's about an hour long.
Yep.
To this story or this post. But yeah.
It's worth watching. If you're really curious about what happened in this situation, it is a very lengthy video, but it is worth watching because he explains every little step and every little detail. And in situations like this, in recoveries, details matter. And it's important for this to be an educational point.
Yeah.
For people to pay attention to those details because every recovery is different. There's no one recovery that is exactly the same as any other recoveries. There's always some variable that is going to be different, and knowing all those variables in a situation and paying attention to all those variables and the details definitely matters.
Absolutely.
So if you guys are interested, watch the video. It's worth the 53 minutes and Caleb's doing well. I have seen a lot of people on social media saying, this is why you don't use soft equipment. You want to use hard equipment for recoveries. And I'm like, are you fucking out of your minds?
He'd be dead. Well. Yeah.
He would be dead if he was using hard equipment.
Yeah.
Let alone just having an afternoon recovery.
And I just want to say this is an excellent example of looking at it. Like, yes, it's a kinetic strap, but regardless if it's a kinetic strap or just a synthetic rope line, they do spring back.
Especially kinetics. Kinetics are designed to spring back. And there's also people saying like, oh, you should have put a winch line damper on it. No, I mean, you'd have to have a 50-pound damper on the kinetic strap in order to keep it from doing what it did.
Yeah.
A regular winch damper, which is people are saying put your floor mat on it. And like a floor mat is not going to stop something with that much force. They exceeded 50,000 pounds. Like,
right.
Arguably, questionably, they may have exceeded 100,000 pounds in this load in this system. So no, a floor mat would not have worked. A winch damper, a regular one, would not have worked. Yeah. Really, it comes down to just being aware of what's happening with the forces and the physics in a recovery situation.
Exactly.
So
yes.
Yeah, I want to put that out. We're going to try and I think get Caleb on the podcast to kind of explain the situation because he does want to treat it as an educational situation. We might have him on to help do that. So
perfect.
Yeah. I think that does it for today.
Sounds good. If you guys have any questions about anything we covered, you can always email us, Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. Tyler will have a lot of spare time here coming up and he will be checking his emails.
Yay.
So you can always email him there. You can also find us on Instagram. I'm over at snailtrail4x4. Tyler's at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. And you can call in and leave us a review and we'll talk about it, or call in and leave us. Yeah, I guess you could leave us a review, but you could call in and leave us a voicemail.
Yep.
And we'll talk about it on our episodes of Snail Mail, which we'll figure out if those are going to happen here in the future while Tyler's on his little, I was going to say vacay, but it's definitely not a vacay.
It's called paternity leave for now. Yeah. Lack of a better term.
Yeah. We'll figure out how to get those and play some of them in his leave of absence. And you can do that over at 916-345-4744.
Sweet. I like it. I like it a lot. Jimmy Jet, any final words for everybody out there?
This really makes me want to go and look at my recovery gear. And I know I have one soft shackle that I should probably retire. So I definitely need to get some new recovery gear for the season coming up.
I'm due. Straps, anything soft, straps, kinetic straps, toe straps, tree savers, soft shackles, all of those are consumable items. If they fail, they probably won't kill you. It's going to hurt like hell, but that's the nice thing about soft equipment. It won't kill you if it does fail, but it's now a much quicker consumable item than hard equipment.
Yeah.
So check your equipment. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I have a joke.
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
No. Yes, maybe.
So what if I don't know what Armageddon means? Is that the end of the world?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is it the end of the world if I don't know what Armageddon means?
I mean, it's asking it that way. The answer would be no.
Oh, so is it yes or no?
How do you ask me a question?
If I don't know what Armageddon means, is that the end of the world?
Yes.
So it's the end of the world that I don't know what Armageddon means.
No.